All right, so welcome back. We are here with my good buddy Wally. How we doing today?
Swell, Monday morning, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, man. So today I wanted to get into the discussion of time blocking, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of realtors come out of school again, not knowing, anything to do. And then they try to just jump right in and show up to an office for like 30, 40 hours with nothing, planned out. So
Right.
and we both know that, traditional realtors that have been doing it a long time can get stuck in the ruts of day to day, following too much up on files, a bunch of different things that I'd like you to cover because I know you're an expert at this. Your calendar is more full than anybody I've ever seen. So
it's so crazy. Yeah.
So I guess share with everybody, a little bit about yourself first in case this is the first time finding us. And then, we'll get into the training.
Sure. Thanks. So I've been in the real estate industry for 25 years. I've spent time coaching and training folks. About 22 of those years, I've had the good fortune of working with top agents like Matt all around the United States and Canada. I've conducted about 40,000 one-on-one coaching calls, live trainings, and group sessions. I was fortunate enough to publish my first book last year, and I'm actually co-authoring another book called Six Figure Agent: How to Make Your First Six Figures in Real Estate. That'll actually be out in a month exactly from today, so June 22nd, and that'll be on Amazon. I also spend a lot of time helping people not just work in their real estate business, but also work on themselves, because a lot of entrepreneurs and salespeople have trouble with getting out of their own way and sabotaging their own efforts, or just not getting the results they want. And oddly enough, time blocking, time management, or like John Chaplock calls it, he says priorities management. It's the same reason people can't get on the phone or don't stick to their goals is the same reason they don't stick to a calendar. So we can talk a little bit about that today. But thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So let's just jump right in. I know you got you've done different presentations on it. So let's go through, exactly what you share, and then I'll jump in when I see some good stuff.
As always, let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
All right. So little slideshow here. Oh, you know what? I want to make sure I share the sound button so you can hear the little video clip of the big. Let's try that again. All right, there we go. So stop time for putting the squeeze on you. You've probably heard this before. A lot of real estate agents, businesses run them instead of them running their business, right? So that happens a lot. And we don't want that to happen. So you got to take control of things. And the thing is interesting, as I was thinking as you were saying this, real estate is one of the very few industries where very much of the time you neither have nothing to sell to anybody, nor do you have anybody to sell it to. Right. So really what you do with your time dictates how successful you're going to be. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still like that in other industries where you're self-employed or an entrepreneur. But however, real estate's one of those things, because as soon as you sell a house, you just put yourself out of work. So anyway, so let's rock and roll here. So this you should recognize, even if you're not a kid, you'll recognize this.
Speak.
Hi there.
Did that dog just say hi there?
Oh, yes.
Bruh!
My name is Doug. I have just met you, and I love you.
What?
My master made me this collar. He is a good and smart master, and he made me this collar so that I may talk. Squirrel!
So that's where the squirrel comes from, right? Squirrel chasing. Yeah. I mean, it may have come before that, but that's kind of, I think, what cemented it is that as real estate agents, there are so many shiny objects that we can easily get distracted on things that we think are important but aren't. And I think a lot of folks they misinterpret activity for action, right? Kind of the old pushing pencils around your desk mode, thought process there. Yeah. But basically, does it feel like there's a monkey on your back distracting you from getting things done? So I've kind of broken these into three different categories: time vampires, time thieves, and time wasters. Excuse the rudimentary nature of my slideshow here. I did it myself just because I needed to get it done for something, and it tells the story. That's all we need to know. Yeah. So time sucking people, and this is important, especially if you're a people pleaser. It's really hard. You got to make sure you don't let people take your time. So people who show up unannounced, or they pop their head in and ask, "Got a minute?" Like, got a minutes can add up to hours. People who are late to meetings and appointments, people who show up way too early for meetings and appointments, don't understand my time, your time, our time, right? My time is my time. your time is your time and our time is our time, and you're going to use our time in a way that benefits us best. Okay. And, here's the thing, and maybe you do this, but, when we first start working with people, we have them create a stop doing list, right? What do you need to stop doing? Where do you need to stop spending time? Where do you need to stop spending money? And who do you need to stop spending time with? Right? That's a big one. So too much personal drama to work. Our clients who want their unfair share of your time, we all have them. Assign unnecessary and the wrong tasks to others. They micromanage others in projects that are not theirs. A lot of agents, because they're not selling the number of deals they want, they really babysit transactions and take themselves out of production to keep them together. But that is a monstrous waste of time, because you can only do so much. Plus, fact of the matter is these days you can get a VA, you can get a VA, and just about any company can do transaction management for you out there that does that kind of work, and charge you somewhere between $300 and $500, call it a day. So there's no reason to do that. Also, we have time thieves checking emails, voicemails, and texts as they come in. I did the math on it. I think it's like we spend almost a month of our year checking emails, voicemails, and texts as they come in. Plus, what it does too, it also takes you off task. Right? You probably saw a couple of years ago, Tony Robbins talked about how multitasking lowers your IQ. Just the shift of doing something, getting off and getting back on, refocusing. It's kind of like the compound effect, right? I mean, one time, no big deal. 3,000 messages a day we get through text and everything else. I mean, think about like 3,000. I mean, what is 3,000 seconds? It's like, what's that? 500 minutes? Is that right? No.
I'd have to do the math on that.
I mean, somebody figured it out. But the whole point is if you responded to every one of those and you took 1 second, that'd be 3,000 seconds, whatever 60 into, that's 500 minutes divided by 6 into 50 is, it's like 9 hours, 8 hours. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of freaking time. Okay.
Yeah. And it actually, it lowering your IQ, it actually takes, according to the whoever did the research, like for me to start a task, pause, read a text, go back to the task, finish the task, to bounce back and forth between multitasking actually makes both things take longer. So it's just one of those things where if you can focus, turn your phone over and finish your task, then go, it just, you can save more time. And that's.
Yeah, true. And one thing to mention here on top of that, if I may, the emotional impact of what you get can also impact you dramatically too. Right? You could be going along great and all of a sudden, like something comes in and zings you. And then you're like a balloon with the air going out of it. And you're all over the place. And it can derail your entire day. When we do these trainings, I turn my phone off, right? An hour, right? And you've probably learned this too. Just about everything in real estate can wait an hour.
Yep. Not
everything, but just about everything can wait about an hour. So I think if you can get that mentality driven into your skull, I think that'll help you dramatically. Taking every call as it comes in. As soon as I pick the phone up, I'm not on my time, I'm on that person's time. Right. And if it's a prospect or a client, you're just not going to say, I got to go like you would do your friend or family member. So no bueno. Pop-up notifications from apps on your phone and computer. Every real estate agent in the world, probably every entrepreneur in the world, clicks on stuff because they think it'll be beneficial for their business and they never get to it. And then you get pop-up notifications and all kinds of stuff. And I pick one time every month, like at least once or twice a month, to go and clean all the crap out of my email inbox and pop-ups and things like that. Yeah. Email drip campaigns, there we go, right there. Having a disorganized workspace. I know where everything is. I know, but if you have to dig through everything to get there, that's not easy. Procrastinating and getting things done, not getting enough rest, believe it or not. I hear real estate agents all the time talking about how they're working till 12, 1, 2 in the morning. And the only thing I can ask myself is, what are you doing during the day?
Yeah. There's
no reason you should have to work till 1, 2 in the morning, unless you're putting some crazy project together that you want to get in place that's going to make your business better. There's no reason to work that late, and then it kills you because then you got to get up at 6, 7 the next morning. You're pie-eyed,
No, I agree. And to me, like, set your 8 to 10 hours. That's it. I don't care when you work as a realtor. My opinion is you just need to work full time, and part-time work equals part-time pay. And I tell my agents that all the time. Like, it's okay if you want to work, 3 to 4 hours a day in real estate, but just understand that that's the paycheck that's going to come from it, and when we track our time by the hour or by the half hour, if you do that for 2-3 days, you'll find all these things and work until 10, 11 at night. It's one thing to push contracts and paperwork off till 8 o'clock at night. But it's another thing to be responding to deal things and all that, the things that you can't help after 5 when title companies are closed and attorneys are closed, like nothing is going to change until 8 a.m. So you're just, putting your own self into possibly anxiety and other people, had my deals messed up, something came back, the mortgage, there's an issue. Like nobody needs to get upset overnight for that. So, but time tells agents, what's important and what's not.
Right. Hey, give me 1 sec here. Sorry. Just to make note of the time. Damn it. I don't know why my nose always decides that it's gonna run when we get on the phone on this. So then we have time wasters. Okay, so micromanaging other people in projects that are not yours. Okay, fear-based strategy, by the way. Oops. Not delegating projects properly or at all. My philosophy as a real estate coach is that I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to remove yourself from your business sequentially, in the right order, and in such a way that you'll never have to go back and do that job. Right? You just pay for stuff until you can afford. You just do stuff until you can afford to pay somebody. Right. First thing you need to do is get administrative tasks off your table. It's $15 an hour work. Maybe a little bit more since we're in a different economy here, but there's no reason you should be sending emails on certain things and doing customer service and doing transaction management and listing management when you can pay somebody to do it, and they'll take payment once the deal closes. I don't care if it's your first day in real estate. Now, I do think you should go through a couple of transactions from beginning to end so you understand what happens. But after that, seriously, when I sold 72 houses my first 14 months in the business, I did not do one closing myself.
Right.
The guy with it already put a system together, and I learned everything, but it's like, the CEO of Pepsi Cola does not go down from her ginormous office at the top of the building down to the bottling plant, which might be next door, and cap bottles or inspect bottle caps.
Right.
It's just not what she needs to do. Meeting face to face when a call or email will do. That's a big one. People want to sit in front of you all the time. Communicating poorly or not at all with clients and coworkers. Not hiring someone to do the job better, faster, and cheaper. Again, procrastination. Using social media too much while working. This is a tough one for real estate agents because we have to be on social media, right? As a real estate, as an industry. But there's a difference between getting on social media and checking, and then getting on social media and spending a half hour. You can a half hour like that on social media.
Yeah, just last week, an agent was here in the office, we're doing stuff, and she had intentions of making calls. And then I came in, to the office, and she was like, "Oh, I'm just building this thing on Canva. I want to get it out." And I was like, does Canva make you money? How many times do you get a call from a post that you make? And I know we got to build those posts, but to me, and I'll share my calendar and the gaps that I recommend when you can play with that stuff. But when you have the intention of, dialing for dollars, which should be every day, if you don't have, 10 buyers or sellers in your pipeline, like stop, do the money-making activities first, then play with stuff, and build stuff. So yeah, social media can be a time vampire.
And I'm concerned that AI is going to be like that new distraction. And I really think that as an industry, I think people have they think that AI is going to do more for them than it's really going to do. And here's the thing. We've had, there's been lead generation platforms out there that have been using AI for 5+ years, at least, if not more, to incubate and nurture leads and to identify opportunities that'll bubble up for you. But at the end of the day, you still have to call them and do business with them. And even here's the other thing, even if I can get you to call me, I still have to give you a reason to come in and do business with me.
Yep.
Right. I don't care how amazing, you think I am. At the end of the day, I've got to vet you. I've got to make sure that you are the right person, that it's the right time, and that I've got to give you a reason to pick me, because there's 1.54 million other of us on the face of the United States ground here. So, all right.
Yep.
Not using the right technology or tools for projects. A lot of people do like this Frankenstein thing where they go get Zapier and they put Zaps together and try and put things together. It's really, really unhelpful. Giving the project to the wrong person, multitasking. Okay, so these are just some statistics. Basically, the big one is and this is for employees, but I think even though we're self-employed, a lot of people, still operate with that employee mentality and how they use their day. But 44% was surfing the web, right? And then employees admit they think they waste at least 3 hours per day.
I would bet realtors are worse than employees.
That's a strong possibility because they're not beholden to anybody. There's not somebody that's going to come by.
Exactly. There's not a project due. It's not, part of your salary and all that. So my opinion would be we're going to be a little bit worse than those numbers. So,
and trying to think, I don't know who did the research, but it was Gallup. It was a Gallup poll, and the Gallup poll found out that for an employee standpoint, 73% of all employees at companies are disengaged at some point. Right. So if employees are disengaged and they have a place to be and things to do, I can only imagine how disengaged a lot of real estate agents are, especially in a somewhat tumultuous market like this, and you can't afford to do that, or you can't afford to just not be connected with what's going on.
Yep.
64% of workers admit using the internet for personal purposes during work hours. We're going to talk in a little bit, but my mentality is when you work, when you play, right? Cliff Freeman, Cliffy, good guy, great guy, smart guy. He calls it the 3 freedoms: time freedom, money freedom, location freedom. My belief is after coaching and selling coaching for 16 the last, at least selling coaching since 2006, almost 17 years, to the person, virtually every real estate agent I've ever talked to wants to become the true CEO of their business, which means they make money whether they work or not, and they're not the one that's driving the train. Also, a lot of people want to get that time freedom. Forgive me, that time freedom. The reason you're doing it for time freedom, then why aren't you making time for your family?
Yeah,
what I'm saying, and what like seriously, go home for dinner, have dinner with your family, take your phone, stick it in a drawer, turn it off for an hour. It's not going to kill you, like you just said. After 5 o'clock, there's not a whole lot anybody can do, and then get back after it. Because you've got to make that. Because I partially ruined my relationship because of that. We didn't have cell phones when I started, but text message. I had a beeper, pager, what I'm saying? And so kind of one of those things where it just got out of hand, and so you have to make time for the people in your life that you care about, because that's part of the reason you got into this.
Yeah. And sometimes life makes you, right? So I had, I had full custody of 2 kids under the age of 5 by the time they were full custody, 5 and 4 years old when I had full custody. And for me, luckily I had been training with you guys, and I had learned how to build a business and organize the business itself to where, you don't have that. You have to be really good and great with your time in order to get the things done to, in my case, to sell enough real estate to pay for that, and, it's just one of those things where, and I just had agents asking me, like, how did you do it when your kids were that little and stuff? And I was like, I don't know. I just figured it out. I don't know. I got good at my time. I knew every week I needed X amount of appointments, and that grew through that. And I believe I grew that as well through 2008, which is where we had to put 100 listings on the market every year. So every week it was like, I got to get 3 to 5 listing appointments, and we're just calling and getting the work done. So life will also show you that you can make the time. So
you're either going to respond or you're going to fold.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate because this can all be worked out.
Yep.
Right. And quite honestly, as a self-employed individual, you really have much more latitude to make it work if you really want to. My belief system is that you need to treat your real estate career like a job until you, until you can turn it into a business, which means you show up at the same time every day. You do the same activities roughly at the same time every day, right? What is it? What's the quote? Repetition is the mother of skill. The more you do something consistently, the better you get at it. One of my favorites is consistent action doesn't always produce consistent results, but it will eventually produce success.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
and that's what, if COVID happened, right? It's kind of over now with the offices and all that stuff. All the real estate offices went back to work. But what I can tell you for those who haven't been in the industry, pre-COVID or got into it right near the start of COVID, every office had 10 to 15% of their agent count showing up in the building every day. typically those are your best producing agents because they're in those routines of this has to happen day by day.
Right.
And, you know, I share with realtors, hey, if I gave you $100,000 a year and said, that's your salary, show up, you know, give me times 8 hours a day, you would do it. And the truth is in our world, you can show up 8 hours a day on your own time and double that income. You can make 200,000 or more,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, we just need to do this, which is get really good with your time management and the numbers will increase. We promise.
CEO salary for sure.
Yep.
So this is one of my favorite quotes from Jim Rohn. Time is more about like with the money. You can get more money, but you can't get more time. And time management is not just an activity, it's a belief system. Because it is not time management, it is priorities management. You put it in your calendar, it means in your head it was a priority, you do it. It's your time, so own it. So let's talk about this. So these are some of the belief systems you must have, you must internalize in order for you to own your time. It's my time and I say how it gets used. Okay. Biggest mistake that a lot of real estate agents make is that they are hyper reactive. Somebody calls, wants something, and then the next thing you know, your day's gone and you got nothing done. Okay. Can you call your doctor and say, hey, listen, I'm coming in right now. I need to see you. No, you can't do it with your attorney. You can't do it with your accountant. You can't even do it with your hairdresser. Go into your hairdresser and say, cut my hair now. They won't do it because they have appointments and that they run their business that way. So when something comes up, the first thing you do is look at your calendar and say, these are the things, the spots I have open, which works for you. If they don't match, then you can violate something that's in your calendar, right? Your calendar has to have some repeaters in there, which we're going to talk about. There are non-negotiables in my calendar. I say fire and blood, meaning unless something's on fire, somebody's bleeding, okay, you're doing what you're doing. No, look, things happen. Flexibility is the key to success on number 3, and I get it, but you know, you have to do what you need to do more often than not to build that consistency. Lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part. That was my dad's favorite. When I have to go, I have to go. Right? Our calendars are very similar. Like we usually, I mean, you and I usually have a hard stop here when we're done and we go. We don't sit there and screw around, you know what I'm saying? Because we've got to go be where we need to be.
Yep.
I respect your time. Please respect mine. You know, and there are people who disrespect your time. And, you know, sometimes you got to let them know that you don't accept that.
Yeah.
But
Now, so in my former office, we actually made stop signs.
Yes.
Because the agent that didn't want to make their calls or whatever would just come in and stop another agent who's in the middle of like going through their CRM and doing the work that they know that they need to do. So we made stop signs, said, stand a stop sign up. If you don't want anybody to grab you and say, hey, can you help with this or talk to you, stand a stop sign up on your desk and, you know, do your thing. So it will help.
Nice. I love it. No emails, texts, voicemails. I am social media, ringing phones, etc. Meetings with me. All right. This is just me. I can't, and it's just me. It's my issue. I hate being on a Zoom when I'm talking to people and they're looking at their phone and they're talking to somebody and they're working on the computer. You can see when somebody I hate that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, look, I don't choose, you know, you can choose to believe it's disrespectful or not. I don't necessarily think it's disrespectful, but what's the point of being on a Zoom or being in a meeting if you're not going to pay attention? Same thing in regular meetings too, you know?
Yep.
Just turn your damn phone off or just put it on silent, push it away from you. It's important. When I'm working, I'm working. When I'm having fun. We talked about that. Here's the other thing, you know, one of the things we ask people to do is put a date night on Friday night or Saturday night or whatever with their significant other so they can have time to spend time with the person that they're building a life with. And, you know, you can go ahead and put it in there and then violate it, you know, 3 times out of 4 because somebody wants to see a house, or you can go ahead and not violate it and keep your word. And then if some big deal opportunity comes up, you can say, hey, I really need to, you know, reschedule a date night tonight.
Yeah.
A lot easier to reschedule it when it's once in a while versus every time. And then thou shalt not overlap time blocks in your calendar. You can't be 2 places at once. So there are things that are important to us, right? The 5 human equities. You know, the success ratio could be money, family, spirituality, physical, mental, emotional. So in order to create a good calendar, a well time block calendar, you need to figure out what you're trying to accomplish. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to figure out what's important to you because you got to put the time in your calendar to support that. So believe it or not, these are the things what you put in your calendar and the order that you put it in. Okay. And we're going to cover that a little bit here, but exercise, time with your family, personal time, projects you need to get done each day, working in your business, doing what pays the bills, prospecting, showing houses, negotiating contracts, right? Working on your business, doing what makes your business better, planning, what do you call it? Training, things of that nature. Okay. Meeting with coworkers as necessary, training and skills improvement, and then goal planning. Right. That's kind of, you got to look at these are the basic building blocks of what's important, in my opinion, to a real estate agent and somebody who's self-employed. So first thing you do is put your personal time to the extent that you can. Okay. And so, well, this is a calendar, but you've got to have some personal time in here. So right here, you can see this is date night and family night, right?
Yep.
So, and then, you can, if you want before this, you can put an exercise too. Okay. So next, daily repeated activities. So look, prospecting is a daily repeated activity, right?
Yep. Follow-ups.
Follow with your sphere, daily repeated activity. Okay. Impact zones, working on your business, right? So leads, listings, finances, open houses, SOI, right? Past clients.
I mean, there was a time in my career where, we were able to say, I show houses Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, Sunday. Like there was, just like on your Tuesday and Thursday there, that would be like available to show. Today, you can't do that because the market's so hot where you got to rush out and see a house, make an offer, in 24, 48 hours. But when the market relaxes, like, trust us, this happens. There are realtors that run their business like that. Nope, I show houses Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever. So go ahead.
No, and that's a great distinction. And you'll notice there is no appointment time in here for that exact reason.
Yep.
Right. You've got to be flexible and have some time in here. And this is why you offer somebody, oops, hold on a second here. This is why you offer people, hey, listen, you get a listing opportunity. So here's the deal. I got this time, these are all the times. It's like, it's like 20 something hours here or more when you can go and buy our appointments, listings and stuff like that. Don't violate any of these to begin with, right? You go ahead and offer them something else. So this first and then violate it if you have to. Okay.
Yep.
Second part, time for jobs and projects that you own. So this is the impact zone meeting here, right? Okay. Meetings with others and coworkers. No, you can ideally put a team meeting in here somewhere if you needed to. Lunch break, even if 15 minutes. I think everybody needs to take some time to just even 15 minutes just to decompress and get centered again and really just give your brain a little bit of time. I like a good mindful meditation during that time. Planning time, working on your business. Okay. And then everything else. Schedule time for voicemails, email, text. I personally love putting time in here to do this. And here's the thing. A lot of folks are like, oh, well, what if people don't think I'm going to get back to them? They're going to go to somebody else. Well, here's the good news. Average response time in the real estate industry, or actually sales in general, is like 16 hours. So I don't think you're in any danger of having that happen, right? But here's the thing. I would set up my email. As a woman named Honoré Corder, she's written a stupid number of books and a professional author, speaker. You send her an email, you get an autoresponder back to say, I got your email. I respond to all my emails in the 24 hours. I promise to get back to you. Right? Your voicemail. Hey, you reached Wally. I check my voicemails at 8, 12, 4, and 6 every day. I'll be sure to get back to you after one of those intervals. You can even set up a custom text response. Hey, letting you know I got your text. I'm in the middle of something. I'll get back to you by end of business today. Okay. Just that alone manages people's expectations so that they know you're being responsive. And I think that can help you a ton. So first things first, and these are keys to running a successfully timed block day. Start your day with the top 5 and 6, right? What are basically 6 minutes? What are the 5 things you have to get done that day? Those 5 things are going to be related specifically to what's here are going to be done in your calendar here and what you need to get done. And they're the most important priority. Touch it once. We keep going back and forth, say this email, go back, it kills you. Schedule your got-a-minute meetings. If you'd like to, if you're in a position where you have people that report to you or you have people that need you, over and above your clients, just, let people know. Here's another thing you can do if you're in a situation where you're in an office setting or in a cube setting, which is not as much now, especially with some of the companies like Real and EXP and whatnot, put your calendar outside your door and just highlight in yellow, this is when you can bother me. Okay. White space is your friend, right? Because that gives you the flexibility to move things around and do what you need to do. But, again, just like your doctor's office, you call and they say, this is what's available, right? And they're not going to kick somebody out. If it's in your schedule, you do it. Schedule activities to your strengths, morning person versus evening person. I don't know about you, but like morning is a much better time for me for copywriting and going through things and analyzing things. Nighttime, my brain gets a little squishy, so no means no. Okay, listen, I can't. And please, if you're a people pleaser, let me know, because I will need to cure you of that, or you will need to cure yourself of that, because people pleasers have the worst calendar management strategies.
Yep.
And it's not their fault. It's not your fault if you're a pleaser, but you get no time for yourself, you get nothing done for yourself, because you're continually putting other people's needs in front of yours. That is ruining your calendar, and it's ruining your real estate business, because you never get a chance to build any momentum. And then you'll put time into other people and the results won't happen the way they're supposed to. And it just goes like that. Okay. We talked about stop signs, orange pylons, whatever you got to do to keep people at your desk. And then flexibility is the key to success. KW, the old mantra is, if you erase, you must replace. So I think that's important. Okay. A lot of this stuff came from these two books here. Time Management Secrets of Billionaires. Great book. Great. This is actually a video. I'm sorry. So video, and then Dan Kennedy's No BS Time Management for Entrepreneurs. Okay. So this is a 20-minute video here. Okay. And I'll leave it here if you guys want to copy that. And then this is a link to, I believe, the book. But yeah, so that's kind of where it's at, and I think the important thing is that you figure out what you want, then you build a time in your calendar, and then you do what you're supposed to do to make it happen, and you ask people, like, you're a baseball player, right?
Yep.
If I want to be a great baseball player, I got to go to the batting cage every day.
Yep.
Right? I got to field grounders every day. I want to be a great golfer, I got to go and putt 500 balls, chip 500 balls, drive 500 balls. Yep. Right? I want to be a great chef. I got to learn how to do saute, and I've got to do garde manger, and I've got to do baking. I've got to learn the grill, and I've got to do it over and over again. You want to be a real estate agent, you got to do things that real estate agents do. You got to prospect, right? You got to work on your skill sets. You got to role play. You know what I'm saying? You got to go to training. And the thing is people just don't do that. And so when time comes up in their calendar to do the things they're supposed to do, they've got this disconnect, sometimes low self-esteem, sometimes low self-worth, and they just find something else to do. And then the compound effect of that is they have to go back into corporate America.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree. I'm going to actually, I'll share what I kind of use to the agents as well. You're going to see me look away because that's where my screen is. So, all right. So this is what we highlight, we do it. What I prefer is for the agents, any new agents, is to print this calendar, and we'll link it in this video and all. Print this and then highlight it with an actual green, pink. The color definitions are at the bottom. Pink first, personal time. Green next, which is money-making activities, right? And then yellow is when you plan to be in the office doing stuff. And I tell everybody, like, as much as we know there's a time, right? There's a good time to call prospects, and there's a not so good time to call prospects. When you're brand new, call them every time, right? Or if you've been out of the prospecting world, just start doing it, right? Force yourself to do it daily, and then you can pick the better times, right? There's nothing worse than a realtor that'll show up to to make their calls at 3:30, but 4 o'clock is better. So they're going to stare at their phone or open emails or do stuff on their phone until 4, and then they're going to dial, but life happens, right? Kid calls, you know what? I'll push off the prospecting. And what this looks like, this is one of my coaching clients where, he liked using it on the computer. So this is his time. Right. And then at the every day, you go backwards, okay, on your calendar, and you show what happened in real estate. And this is common for a real estate agent, right? We intended to do a lot of stuff, and then work happened. But the biggest thing I can say is, there's a couple things to do at the bottom here, your top 3. And these hours are how many hours this agent actually made, dials and prospected. So, my sales meetings for my team, we want to see your penciled in calendar on top of your intended calendar. And then we want to say, all right, how did you do? And then kind of track your time. Did you work a full day, or did you work a part-time day? Because part-time work equals part-time pay. So we don't want that. Yeah, it's just, if you track yourself backwards and say, well, yesterday I really stopped working at 2 o'clock, and then 3 days in a row, it's like, well, how do you expect to make a 40-hour paycheck by working 25 hours. You can't do it. So that's all. I just wanted to share kind of what we do here, locally when we do our little get-togethers and masterminds
Well,
to hold
that's
people accountable.
I think that's amazing. And, one of the things that I didn't spend any time on, which you did, which is the color coding of your calendar.
Yeah.
Just looking at it will tell you what it is, I'm saying, and I think it's important to color code it so that you can at a glance figure out what's coming up next and what you need to do and what to prepare yourself for.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to send you a link to a video on time blocking. And I'll share it with you, and then you can just share it with whoever you want. But
yeah, we'll drop it in the body of the comments or whatever on YouTube for everybody.
Yeah.
We'll drop links to all this stuff and the videos. But now this is honestly week number one's task for any agents that I, have ever brought into the business, mentored, whether they join my team or not. I always put time blocking first because it's the most important part. Like, now you're self-employed, just like if you were a landscaper, right? Cool. You bought a mower and a trailer and it's hitched up to your truck and you got 3 lawns to cut. You can be done by lunch on Monday. And what are you going to do? Right now, you got to go out and drop door hangers, do all this stuff. And we're in that same line of work when you can look at it from the outside. I got to go get a client. Where do I get it? How do I do it? What do I do it? That's how you fill your calendar with what works in today's market. So
right on. Cool.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for having me, sir.
Yeah, this was great. And guys, just follow us all over the place. We constantly have trainings for everybody. So awesome. Thanks again.
See you next time. Thanks. Bye.